Hello, this is Vidas Pinkevicius, and I am walking in the woods right now, listening to beautiful bird songs, because today is the day I'm playing an organ recital called More Palatino in Vilnius University St. John's Church in a few hours, maybe in 5 hours. It starts in the evening. So I started my day this morning basically going to church for one last practice run through of these pieces on the program. The pieces that I'm going to play will be chosen from all 7 centuries of organ music. In fact, this is a recital from the cycles of 7 centuries of organ music, and it's already the 19th part. And I've chosen the repertoire so that each piece would be a representative composition of the centuries from the 14th century, from the earliest compositions up to the present day. I'm finishing my recital with my improvisation. This will be like 21st century idea, and I'm starting, of course, with Johann Sebastian Bach, choral prelude Christ ist Ernstanden, BWV number 627 from the Orgelbuchlein, because this piece is a good piece for Easter period like today. And then I'm going to play a piece, organ intabulation, from the earliest source known from the 14th century, basically Adesto from the Robertsbridge Codex. This is the Italian origin, but this manuscript is preserved in the British Library. So this will be a fun piece to play on my organ. It has 3 voices, and I think I'm going to register on the 4-foot flute alone. It's an intabulation or arrangement of the vocal composition, vocal motet Adesto, where each part has different text. It was a very interesting idea from the 14th century Ars Nova style. Then I'm going to play a 15th century composition on the organ, but it originally was composed for the choir, vocal music, and that's Kyrie by Johannes Ockeghem, famous Flemish composer. And this Kyrie is taken from the Requiem, the earliest preserved Requiem, Missa pro defunctis. I remember singing this entire Requiem about 17 years ago, maybe 18 years ago, in this particular church with my vocal group, and this was the first time I think this Requiem was sounding in Lithuania, so that was fun. I love this writing so much that I kind of wanted to experiment how it would sound on the organ. It's early Renaissance style with many open fifth sounds, but already beautiful, pure sounding thirds are in place, but in cadences Johannes Ockeghem still writes open fifths and octaves, like in Middle Ages tradition. Okay, so that was 15th century. Then for the 16th century, I've chosen More Palatino variations by Jan Pietersson Svelling. And Svelling is sort of in between composer between Renaissance and the Baroque. He was born in the 16th century, but then he died in the 17th century, right? So it's like a representative of both styles. It should work. I think I'm going to register this piece on flute registration, beautiful flute registrations. It's quite virtuosic, so it will be fun to play those keyboard passages, but as you might know, the acoustics in this church, St. John's Church, is very large reverberation, so maybe I should actually include a little bit slower tempo so that the texture might be also audible and clear. Then for the 17th century I'll be playing basically Preambulum in G by Heinrich Scheidemann from North Germany. He was the organist at St. Catherine's Church in Hamburg. So I think I'm going to register it on two manuals, alternation with mixtures and full principal chorus, manual 1 and manual 3. It will alternate with echo effects. This is a beautiful piece, and on the first manual I will be playing episodes which will feature the pedal part, and on the third manual, the positive, probably I'll use the manual only passages for echo. Right, and then let's go to the 18th century. Since Bach, Johann Sebastian Bach, was featured right at the beginning, I'm going to play his student, Johann Ludwig Krebs. Chorale prelude in 3 parts called Jesu meine Zuversicht, also suitable for the Easter period. Beautiful piece, manualiter only, and the first part is of course preambulum, like a prelude. The second, the middle movement, is like a chorale prelude in 2 parts, where the cantus firmus is presented in long notes in the right hand, and the left hand goes with arpeggio accompaniment, so to say, and the last movement is sort of basically harmonization of the chorale tune in 4 parts. And I'll be playing not from the written down notes, but using original continuo, basso continuo notation, where only the 2 outer parts will be written out, soprano and the bass. Good. I'm now approaching a small creek, and I have to cross it very carefully, so I'm slowing down. Good. It's early spring here in Vilnius, and you're seeing some of the green leaves, but not too many. Good. Let's continue. Then after Krebs, I'll choose a 19th century piece from the Paris tradition, middle of 19th century, Louis Jamel Fred Lefebvre-Vely. Lavalier. He was a famous Parisian organist and composer and improviser, actually the favorite organ demonstrator of Aristide Cavaillé. And he wrote numerous pieces, right? Numerous collections, very good showmanship. And I'm playing Offertoire Grand Chœur from Opus 122. That would be wonderful example of the romantic writing. It's not too chromatic, but it still has this French interesting style, harmonies, plus of course very cleverly composed structure. It has a sonata form, very concise and not too overcomplicated sonata form. And I'll be playing it of course using grandeur registration with principal chorus, flute chorus, with reeds of course. Well, just like Offertoire would be played in the mid-19th century France. Well, and that would finish 19th century's tradition. And then I'm going to go to the 20th century writing, which will be featured by the Dutch school, Floor Peters, the famous Dutch organist and composer, author of the organ school and numerous pieces, compositions, and I've chosen his aria because a guest from England, organist from England, gave a present to me last year, the notes of this aria. This is a beautiful two-manual piece, slow movement where right hand features the reed and like a cornet registration solo, and the left hand and the pedals have, you know, chordal texture with specific 20th century harmonies. Not too harsh, not too dissonant, but nevertheless very colorful. So of course it will be a relaxing moment after the grandeur sound of the Offertoire of Lavalier. And then I'm going to finish this recital, as I mentioned before, with my improvisation. It will be like a finale, like a fantasy / toccata, but it will not have motoric toccata-like rhythms, but sort of more free texture. I will spontaneously improvise increase of tempi and loudness. Sometimes it will be slow, sometimes fast, sometimes loud and sometimes soft, sometimes joyful, and sometimes a little bit sad. But of course I will be finishing this piece on the high note, on probably in the key of G, because this previous piece, by Floor Peters aria, is also in the key of G, so it will work together. And just like I'm talking to you today, I'm going to introduce my music in between of pieces to my audience. I'll have a nice chat with them, and of course the possibility to change stops in between the pieces. That's very good, and I'll have an opportunity to actually stand up from the organ bench, which will actually be refreshing. And I'll talk for a minute or two and come back and play the next piece. So that's the whole idea of More Palatino Recital, which is number 19th of the cycle, 7 centuries of organ music that I'm going to play at Vilnius University St. John's Church today. And I played all those pieces in the morning at my church, just like a dress rehearsal. I didn't need to try out all the stops because I did it on a couple of days before. I know the organ quite well, what works and what doesn't. I just wanted to go over some difficult spots. For example, the first piece, remember this choral prelude from Orgelbuchlein by Bach, basically Christ ist erstanden in 3 verses, right? It has some complicated polyphonic textures which I wanted to make sure I can play tonight, so I repeated actually the whole thing 10 times today, the whole 3 verses, and that was actually very reassuring to know that in the evening I'll be quite secure about this, especially left hand and pedal combination. Good. So when I finish this walk and this training, I'm going to go home and finish preparing program notes for this recital, and then print it out and then cut it with my special very long scissors, you know. They help me to cut the paper program notes like in precise format that will be, you know, that will look good for the audience. So I'm going to do this after that, and then I'll be ready to go to church and have one last practice. Maybe the strategy behind this last run through will be to practice the pieces backwards. Well, not backwards, right? But starting from the last piece on the program. So I'll start maybe with improvising, warming up a little bit, and then going from the 20th century to the 14th century backwards. So then Flor Peters, Lefebvre-Vely, Krebs, Scheidemann, Svelling, Ockeghem, and then Robert's Bridge Codex, and then Bach would be the last piece. And actually, as I am going to do this in the evening as preparation, I'm turning my own pages and changing the stars myself. So as I'm playing the 20th century piece, right, which will be the last piece which I am going to play from the sheet notation, I'm rehearsing it first today and leaving the notes on the music rack, and then taking the notes of Lefebvre-Vely, right, and then putting them on top of that. When I'm done with Lefebvre-Vely, those pieces will stay on the music rack, and then I'll be taking the Krebs piece on top of that. You see, I'll be preparing my exact order of compositions that I'm going to play backwards, so that the first piece, Christ ist erstanden by Bach, will actually become the first on top of all of them, right? So my program will be in order, in the correct order, and I'll be ready actually to perform tonight. We'll have special lighting, a little bit of gold light, I think, and I'll try to record this recital so that you guys could watch it afterwards, the video. Okay. It will be not live, of course, because I'm not sure if the connection at church will be sufficient for the internet live stream, but I'm going to record it on my camera and then upload it to YouTube afterwards. So in a few days it will be ready for replay. So you see how you can use this remaining time of the last few hours before the recital, if you have approaching one, right? Think about it. I really recommend you take a walk that day. This is particularly healthy, of course, for your body, because when you're walking, right, you're taking many steps, and my goal today is, of course, 10,000 steps. I'll try to do this every day. And before I started walking, taking this walk, I only had a couple of thousand of steps on my app on the phone, so I hope in these woods I'll be having many more steps, up to 10,000 of my daily goal. And I really recommend you practice in the morning at the day of your recital, like I did, right? Maybe checking the entire program, but especially the difficult spots. Like mine was with Christ ist Ernstanden, and with Scheidemann actually I played a few times also Preambulum in G, this polyphonic texture with echo passages needed some work. And you also need an hour or so before the actual event in the evening. I really recommend that. And the order you can do this is backwards. Then your exact program will be in order of your performance. So the last piece that you will be ending your rehearsal will actually be the first on the recital, and you will be ready to go. So thanks for watching. This is Vidas Pinkevicius. Visit my blog Secrets of Organ Playing at organduo.lt, where you can download my 10-day mini course on mastering any organ composition. You'll find it there. Thanks guys, I'll see you again online very soon.